All right, we are now live via YouTube and on Zoom. Welcome to week 9 of the 12-week Sun Salutation series. My name is Collin, for those who are watching on YouTube and joining in or watching this later on. It's going to be a pretty slow-paced class. It's we've done this sequence before. I'm going to change up just a couple things. But really focusing on stretching out those psoas and hip flexors tonight. Really just trying to slow down from a busy week, and Monday's class is pretty tough. So we're going to get started. Tonight's class, you're going to need a strap, 2 blocks, a bolster if you would like, and a blanket if you would like. If you don't have a bolster at home, you can always sub out for 2 pillows or multiple pillows stacked on top of one another with some blankets. If you don't have the blocks, you can use hard cover books, not soft cover. And then lastly, that strap. If you don't have a strap, you can always use a belt. You can always use a towel. Anything you can wrap around the foot. I'm going to make my way back to the mat. We're going to start on our backs with our feet together and our knees falling out away from each other, otherwise known as recline, bound angle, or butterfly pose. So I'll meet you there. And you may notice on my screen I'm not pinned, and you'll see the VYP logo. When there's not a lot of people in the class, oftentimes it does not allow us to pin myself, but that's okay. We're gonna make do with what Zoom decides to work with us and have a really fun class tonight. So as you're on your backs, relaxing into the pose, feet are touching, knees are falling out from one another. I'm gonna stay in an upward position to kind of guide you through the first 5 minutes, talk to you about a couple things. Taking a moment to just come into your space that you're occupying. Settling into your body. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And if you'd like a little bit of extra support under the knees, you can take those 2 blocks that we talked about, our books, and place those right up underneath the knees. You notice I'm a little bundled up. It's a little cold here in Denver. Super random. Coming back into our bodies now. Noticing the full support of the mat underneath us. Noticing the full support of the ground underneath us. Allowing yourself to let go of any tension you're holding on to in the body. Now bringing your awareness to the space that you're occupying, the space that you're in. Just noticing any of those noises that may arise for you during your practice tonight. Maybe it's a screaming baby, which is okay. Maybe it's a dog. But just noticing those noises so they're not a surprise to you at any point during your practice over the next hour. You may hear my dog bark. He likes to hang around, and he's actually just out of the screen on my left here. Coming back and bringing our awareness into our bodies, noticing our breath, taking notice of the natural rise and fall of the breath. And as you're noticing your breath, allowing it to just do its own thing, your body knows what it's doing. Begin to think of an intention that you would like to set for yourself in tonight's class. If you can't think of one tonight, you're more than welcome to use one of mine. Tonight, my intention is to just be here and slow down. Everything has been feeling a little chaotic. And it just feels really nice to take this hour to slow down and remind myself that this too shall pass, this chaos shall pass. And allowing myself to just rest, allowing myself to just breathe and guide you. Still noticing our breath here. Maybe deepening the breath down all the way into the belly. Letting the belly fill up all the way to the top. Gently exhaling it back through the nose. We'll do a 4-part breath here. So I'll give an example in the first round. Right, so we're going to count to 4, hold at the top for 2, and then release for 4. Getting onto our natural rhythm or breath here. So exhale all together. So exhaling all the air out. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding for 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round here. I'll guide you through. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 3 more rounds at your own pace here. After you complete your rounds, take a nice full body breath. Really breathing deep into the belly, all the way up to the ribs, into the chest, and then slowly and gently exhaling that breath back through the nose, starting at the top of the chest, the ribs, down into the belly. Using your hands to guide your feet, guiding your feet, I'm sorry, your knees back to center with the feet on the outside of the mat. Just hanging out here for a second. Good counter pose for our reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly. And as we move through tonight, still holding in this position, as I'm placing and guiding you all into these poses, my plan tonight is not to talk too much and allow you the space to just enjoy this quiet. So after I settle you to the pose, I'll always tell you that when we're going to have that silence and just prep you for that, but I won't be talking as much tonight. Allowing the knees to drop from side to side in that windshield wiper motion, right? So the knees fall over to the right, not forcing anything, just allowing the knees to naturally fall where they go, bringing them back up to center and then over back to the opposite side. Massaging out that lower back. Inhale. And on your exhale, pull the knees in towards the chest, hug the arms around the knees. Give yourself a nice big squeeze here, maybe rock from side to side. Taking a breath here. And as you exhale, straighten out that right leg, driving through the heels and really flexing our right foot while we pull that right knee, or the left knee, excuse me, in towards our chest. From here, maybe do some little circles with that left knee, just rotating the hip just a little bit. Inhaling all together. And as you exhale, drop that knee over towards the right. Supine spinal twist. Left arm is still extended out towards the left. Left shoulder blade is still touching the mat or the ground or your towel. From here, if you're looking to go a little deeper into the pose, you can bend that right knee towards the glute and then grab the right foot for cat's pulling the tail. Not forcing anything here. So if you're up off the ground, maybe that might be too far, but you can always still bend that right knee. I'll leave you here in silence for about 30 seconds as you settle into this pose. If your leg was bent or you were holding on to that right leg, you can go ahead and straighten that right leg back out, driving through the heel, flexing the toes. We'll inhale, pulling our left knee back up to center. And as we exhale, pull that knee in towards the chest. Inhale, place that left foot down onto the floor. And exhale, pull that right knee in towards the chest. Taking a few breaths here. And for those who are wondering why giving the breath cues on certain movements, whenever you pull the knee in towards the chest and you exhale the belly, imagine like you're deflating a balloon in your belly or your diaphragm. So you're making room in the diaphragm area in your belly to get a deeper stretch here. If you were exhaled or inhaled, excuse me, your belly would expand like we've been practicing and push that knee away from the body. Just doing those small hip circles here. Inhaling through the nose. And as you exhale, drop that right knee over towards the left. Nice spinal twist here. Still driving through that left foot. Right arm reaches out towards the side. Right shoulder blade still touching the mat. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Again, if you're looking to go deeper into this pose, you can bend that left knee with the heel coming in towards the butt or the glutes and grabbing that foot for a bit of a quad stretch. If that's not in your practice, that's okay. I'm not here to force anything. I'll leave you in silence for about the next 30 seconds before I bring you back and out of this pose, remembering your breath as well. On your next inhale, if you were holding on to that left foot, go ahead and straighten that left foot back out. Taking a full breath here. Now on your next inhale, guiding that right knee back up towards the center. Pulling that knee in tight and exhaling, lowering it back down towards the floor. So, moving into our next pose, we'll grab those straps or towel if you have a towel or a belt, whatever you have on hand. And we'll make a little loop. I don't know if you all can see that, but at the end of my strap, I made a small loop that I can place around my foot. If you're using a towel, you can just wrap the towel around your foot. Same thing goes with a belt. So wrapping it around our right foot, we'll come back down onto our backs. Legs are still straight out. Holding onto that strap in our right hand. Strap is wrapped around our right foot. Taking a breath here. Inhale all together. On your exhale, we'll start to raise that right leg off the ground using the strap or whatever gear you're using to pull and hold on to our gear, still driving through that right foot. So flexing that right foot. You should feel this in the hamstring. Driving through our left heel, still engaging our left heel. We'll be holding here for about 2 minutes. So notice if you're rounding the back off the floor, right? If you're rounding the back, just gently just lower the leg just a little bit, right? You can either be holding your gear in just one hand, that right hand, or holding the gear with both. Shoulders are dropped down towards the floor, so our shoulder blades are touching our mat. Still engaging both of our feet, so driving through those heels. And I'll leave you in silence for the last few minutes of this pose. Moving that strap into the right hand, or if you're holding onto the towel, moving it over to the right hand. Take a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to drop that right leg over towards the right, still holding onto our gear here. So our right leg is now over towards the right, opening up our hip. Still holding onto that strap with the right arm or towel. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears, the shoulder blades still touching the mat. Maybe wiggling the head from side to side, massaging up the head. Moving down our body, relaxing our belly, relaxing our pelvis. Still engaging that right leg, right? So still driving through that heel, flexing our toe. When we flex our toes in these hamstring positions and hip openers, we're protecting the knee. I'll leave you in silence for the next minute. On your next inhale, using the strap to help as you lift that left leg or that right leg, excuse me, back up towards center. Switching hands, so now taking the strap or the towel into the left hand. Take a nice big deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, dropping that right leg over towards the left. Straight-legged spinal twist. You can really feel this on the upper IT band, or glutes, or low back. And this is a really good stretch for sciatica. I do this at least twice a week to prevent my sciatica flare-ups. So still driving through our heel, gauging that foot. Relaxing that right shoulder into the floor or into the mat. Leave you in silence for the next minute. Next inhale, lifting that right leg back up to center. Exhaling, giving that leg just a little pull here. And as you inhale, lowering that leg, right leg back down to meet the left. Wow. Taking a moment here, noticing the difference in the right leg versus the left right now. Noticing that sensation that you may feel in your body. We're going to go ahead and switch feet. So we're going to move that strap or that towel over to the left foot now. And if you'd like to have a little bit of fun with this, whenever I use a strap, I always try and see if I can just move the strap over just using my feet, or moving the towel over just using my feet. So I don't have to sit up. I like to play with use my toes to move everything over. I can stay in this nice supine position or lying on my back. Once that strap or that, excuse me, once that strap or towel is over on the left foot now, take a nice big inhale all together. Holding the strap or the towel in both hands, exhaling, lifting that left leg up towards the sky. Driving through that left heel, flexing the left toes, still flexing our right toes, driving through the right heels as well. Our pelvis is nice and flat on the floor. We're not tilting to one side. Belly is soft. Shoulders are dropped away from the ears. Shoulder blades touching the mat. Maybe rock the head from side to side, massaging out the back of the head. I'll leave you in silence for the next few minutes as you settle into your body, into this pose. Taking our strap or blanket, towel, excuse me, over into the left hand. Take a nice big deep inhale all together. And on the exhale, we'll allow that left foot to drop out over towards the left. Still driving to that right heel, driving through the left heel as well. You let the foot settle down, opening up the hip here. Again, still engaging that left foot. Checking in to see if you're rolling too far onto that left hip. So still driving our right hip into the mat. Belly is nice and soft. Shoulders are away from the ears. Shoulder blades into the mat. Head is nice and soft. Taking a deep, big inhale here through the nose, all the way down through the belly. Slowly exhale that back out through the nose. I'll leave you in silence for the next minute or so as you settle in to your body. Coming back to the breath. Inhale and lift that left leg back up to center. Switching hands, so strap or towel comes over towards the right. And we'll inhale here, and on the exhale, driving through the heels, flexing your toes, dropping your left leg over towards the right. reaching through those left fingertips, left shoulder blades still touching the mat. Relaxing the hips. Taking a moment here to notice any tension in the body that you're holding on to. As you're settling into this body, or into your body, reminding yourself that mindfulness is not a state of erasing any thought from the memory or the brain. Mindfulness is just being aware of the present moment. The present moment right now is just you, your body, and the mat. And listening to each pose, giving your body and your brain just a second to take a break. I'll leave you in silence for this last minute. I'll come out of the pose. When you're ready, on your inhale, lifting that left leg back up to center. Exhale, lowering it back down to meet the right foot. You can remove that strap or the towel and place it off to the side. Just take a moment here to notice any changes in the body. When you're ready, you can roll onto the belly. Placing the hands at the sides of the chest. Knees are touching the mat. Curling the toes, pressing up through the hands and knees, coming into a tabletop. Maybe wagging at the tail, so letting the hips rotate from side to side. Move into some cat-cows, so on the exhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Our cow pose. And on the inhale, pull the belly in. I'm sorry, that was backwards. Exhale, pull the belly in, drop the chin towards the chest, round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Exhale, pull the belly in, press to the hands, chin to chest. Go at your own pace here. Just doing a couple more cat-cows. Really taking care of our spine tonight. Making any movements in your body tonight after your cat-cows. Maybe doing some big hip circles. So dropping the hips over towards the left. Swinging them over towards the right. Coming back over hands. Shoulders over hands. And dropping the hips over towards the left. Over towards the right. From here, we'll drop into child's pose. So hips come towards the feet. You can either take wide-legged child's pose if you like, or keep the knees close together for regular child's pose. Whichever variation you decide to take for yourself. Pressing through the hands. Allowing the hips to fall down towards the feet. Breathing deeply into this pose. I'll leave you in silence for the next minute to relax into this pose. When you're ready, come out of this pose by pressing into the tops of the feet, pressing through the hands. Coming into that tabletop. We'll gently lower ourselves down onto our belly. So maybe walking the hands just a couple inches out in front of you as you lower yourself down, the chest down towards the floor. Elbows are tucked in towards the chest or the body. We'll set up for Sphinx pose. So you have two options here. For Sphinx, you can either Have the elbows underneath the shoulders. Palms are nice and flat on the floor, leading with the chest, curling the back, reaching through the toes. If this is too much on the low back, you can just slide those elbows forward just a little bit, still leading with the chest, still reaching through the toes. If you're looking to go a little deeper, you can always grab your bolster. I don't have my bolster nearby, so I use my blanket. But you can prop yourself up onto that bolster or blanket for a little bit deeper of a stretch in that low back. Remember to do whatever variation works in your body. We're not forcing anything. If you begin to feel any kind of pinching, any numbness, any tingling, please come out of the pose or go to a lower part of the pose or variation. Leading with our heart or our chest. Head is slightly relaxed here. Reaching through the toes. And as you settle in to your body, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, I'll leave you in silence for the next few minutes before I bring you back. slowly coming back to your breath. You got a bolster or a blanket underneath the arms of the chest, moving those out of the way. Slowly sliding the elbows forward, reaching through the fingertips, almost like you're Superman. You're trying to fly away, dropping the head, forehead down to the mat, reaching through the toes, reaching to the fingers. Taking a big full body stretch here. Sliding the hands back towards the face, stacking the hands on top of one another, resting the forehead down onto the hands, resting here. When you're ready, rolling back into our backs, having a block nearby. Bending our knees here, feet can come flat to the floor, arms come down to our sides. We can scoot our hips towards our feet, get some good alignment here. We'll move into a supported bridge pose. So before we lift our hips up, ensuring that our bodies are in the correct positions for our bodies, right? For your body. So sliding the butt towards the glutes, checking in with the shoulders. Shoulders are dropped away from the ears. Having that block close by. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, press to the feet. Lift the hips and slide that block underneath the hip bones, just below the low back. Knees are still bent, feet are still flat on the floor. Palms can be flat on the mat, or palms can be faced up. Staying here if this is comfortable for you. If you would like another variation to this, going deeper, you can extend the legs out long. If that's too much for you, you can always just keep those feet flat on the floor. Allowing the hips to feel the support and the weight of the gravity on the block. Noticing if the knees are falling out, so still hugging the knees in towards one another. I'll leave you in silence for the next few minutes. breathing into the body once more. Pressing through your feet, lifting the hips, removing the block from underneath the hip bones, dropping the hips back down to the floor. On an exhale, pulling the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug, rocking from side to side. You're ready. Lowering the legs back down to the floor into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Grabbing any gear that you've used before that you enjoy. Maybe placing a blanket underneath the knees. Maybe an eye pillow over the eyes or a pillow behind the head. Settling into your resting pose. Allowing the feet to fall out from one another. Noticing if you're holding any tension in the hips or the legs. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the head. I'll leave you in Shavasana and quiet in the next few minutes. And I'll bring you back. It's time to close our practice. Wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. To gently wake your body back up. Making any small movements. Rolling onto one side. Placing the arm underneath the head. Stacking the knees on top of one another into this fetal position. taking a moment here, not worrying about what's coming next. When you're ready, gently pressing your hand into the floor to come up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed or in a soft gaze. Bringing the hands so that the palms are touching the thumbs in front of the chest or our hearts. Taking a moment now to just give yourself gratitude for taking this hour out of your busy day, this hour to take care of yourself, to take care of your mind, to take care of the body. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you that have been coming to these classes, have been watching these classes. We'll drop our chins towards our chests, bowing to one another in respect and gratitude for taking this time for themselves or yourselves, opening the eyes if they were closed. That's week 9. All right. We have class on Monday at 5:30. We are doing Sun Salutations again. It'll be 75. Woohoo! 75 Sun Salutations on Monday. It'll be week 10 on Monday. Drink lots of water. Tonight's journal prompt is what makes me happy. You'll see me in a new space next week as well. So sorry about all the changes over the last 3 months. It's like every month I'm in a new space. But that's just how life goes sometimes. All right. I will see you all on Monday. Have a great week and